Well, Al-Qaeda's leader is urging jihadist fighters in Syria to unite or die. Osama bin Laden's successor, Ayman al-Zawahiri, released a new recording yesterday. He called for unity among jihadists and rebels, but he also criticized ISIS for being, and I do quote, extremists and renegades, end quote. In his speech, he said, and I quote, "We have to want the unity of Syria so it will be liberated from the Russians and Western crusaders. My brothers, the matter of unity is a matter of life or death for you," end quote. To discuss it all, CBS News senior national security analyst Juan Zarate is now joining us from Washington. And Juan, what to make then of this speech and certainly the timing of it?
Well, Josh, Al-Qaeda has been under a lot of pressure and in competition with the Islamic State, first and foremost in Syria. They've been engaging in direct battles, fighting over control of territory, and certainly fighting over the hearts and minds of the jihadi world. And so what Zawahiri is doing is issuing a call to arms for unity, both against ISIS as well as the Assad forces and other rebel forces that are on the ground. And he's certainly trying to help coalesce the Islamist forces as they engage in battles against the Assad regime, Russian forces, as well as other competing forces. But this is Zawahiri trying to not only make himself relevant, but trying to call for some unity and trying to help the Al-Qaeda affiliate Jabhat al-Nusra, given its interests in Syria.
Now, you mentioned the question of relevance. Again, this was the initial division between Al-Qaeda and ISIS was one, as much of anything, about a power struggle among its leaders. Can this call then for unity be successful?
Well, I don't think you're going to see unity between the Islamic State and Jabhat al-Nusra, the Al-Qaeda affiliate. You see this deep divide, both personally at the leadership level as well as strategically and ideologically. And Zawahiri clearly sees ISIS as a renegade movement, comparing them to a first-century outlaw Muslim sect. And so there is a deep divide between both the leadership of the movement and where it should be going. And as you said, Josh, the initial divide between Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State came in the direction of the movement in Iraq and Syria. Is the caliphate, as declared by Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, legitimate? Should it be declared now? In what form? Al-Qaeda has objected to that and has objected to a lot of what the Islamic State not only says, but what it does. And so this is part of that ongoing ideological battle. And certainly Zawahiri in this statement is trying to unify the other forces to galvanize and strengthen around Jabhat al-Nusra, the Al-Qaeda group there in Syria. For
groups opposed then to these groups, it might seem that this discord would be something of a gift, although obviously with the two groups in question, the volatility could be something exponentially worse. How then will the U.S. respond here?
Well, the U.S. unfortunately is fighting a many-stage battle here with multiple fronts and certainly multiple enemies. The enemy of my enemy, in this case, is still my enemy. And Al-Qaeda and ISIS, though they are at each other's throats in Syria, certainly have no love lost for the U.S., our allies, or our allies on the ground, more importantly. And so for the U.S., I think it's a little bit of divide and conquer. You hope to continue to pressure both the Islamic State and Jabhat al-Nusra, try to not only bolster the Syrian Free Army, the rebel groups that are on side with the U.S., but also then politically moving forward so that these groups are then isolated. I think you're also going to see, Josh, and this is important, attempts to continue to drive a divide between the groups. The more that we can force these groups to compete with each other, the more that their time, resources, and leadership will be devoted to that and not plotting against the West.
Again, it does seem that volatility will be the rule of law here moving forward, at least for a bit. Juan Zarate there in Washington. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh.